We we come with one purpose. We owe you no to serve us. We are one. We are one.
And it's all being recorded.
All right. Perfect. We are here today. We're basically having dialogue with Miss Dr. Watts.
Actually, it is Dr. Aisha Watts Wills.
I apologize for that. You know, she's learning me something also. What we're doing today is having a conversation with the founder of the BCU, and then also the board ambassador of the BCU as well. Our efforts is to bring about unity within the beauty industry. Yes, there is a reason why it's called Barbers and Cosmetologists. Reason being is that barbers is basically the second oldest profession known to man, and we're not going to discuss what the first oldest profession is, but a lot of the things have stemmed from that, with much respect to the cosmetology industry. Makeup artists, eyelash artists, masseuse, and even in the fashion industry as well, because it's all an art form of the beauty industry. So we are doing dialogues and conversations with everyone within the industry, not to only help brand your business, but to also bring about discussion within the industry and share your story, because we all know that there is another you that's out there that is trying to get into the industry and they have no idea how. So we're going to have a conversation about our positions, and we will ask questions later on. As you can feel free to actually comment or put the questions on the page or whatnot, or we can have a conversation going through the site. So kind of pay attention and follow the website, which is Barbers and Cosmetologists United. Right now we're just Facebook, soon to be a website. So if you can state your name for the world abroad.
My name is Dr. Aisha Watts Wills, DPC.
Wow. Okay. Now, what is the name of your salon?
My salon name is Isn't She Lovely Hair Salon.
Could you tell the folks actually where it's located?
We are located at 3424 Stony Springs Circle. We are right off of Hurstbourne.
Louisville, Kentucky, I'm assuming.
Louisville, Kentucky, 40220.
Nothing against your city, but I love my city. I really do. What has inspired you to get into the industry?
Let's see.
Yes.
I wouldn't even really say it was an inspiration. It was more of a calling on my life.
Wow.
The beauty industry truly has been in me ever since I can remember.
Okay.
Like, I remember being in the 5th grade doing my teacher's hair. You know, anybody that truly knows me, they will always associate me doing hair.
Oh my goodness.
So I was honestly born into it. My father, actually, he's a retired barber. So it's in the blood.
Oh wow. I don't share them same stories. My story was, I went to barber school to be able to cut my 2 kids hair. That was the reason why I joined. But my inspiration with that was by me making that family-oriented decision to be able to do that, which is foundation for everybody. And just by me simply making a decision, it has brought me this far. And even within our industry, we already know that it is relationship-driven business, which a lot of people think that it's more or less of the skill set, because if it's the skill set, you're constantly evolving when it comes from the skill set. So for me, I'd rather build a relationship because we kind of learn from each other. We grow from each other, which is why, I kind of started the organization. It's hard for me to run around and meet everybody, have a phone call with everybody, especially with our industry.
Most definitely, because we are all extremely busy.
Yes. If you had a platform, of course, which is right now what we're speaking about, is like the BCU, and if you could inspire someone to actually become in the industry, what advice would you give them?
Always remain teachable, humble, and open, because you never know who's who and who can actually help you, even if it's just like words of wisdom, even if it's just you watching how they move in the industry. Because to my knowledge, I've had like great people be around me to give me insight on what direction I wanted to go in. You know, I may not have had like a personal relationship with them, but I was able to kind of watch from afar and use those things to incorporate that into my journey. And I've been extremely successful with that.
Okay. Now with that, what would be, you know, we all have bloopers in the industry. I'm calling them learning curves in the industry, or bumping our heads, so to speak. What would have been a transferable moment for you to be like, okay, well, this is what took place, so I know not to do that, but it gave you more direction to even move even fast, not even faster, but to be more committed within the industry. Like, what was the blooper for you in the industry? Well,
Bloopers. I don't want to sound like I haven't been through anything, but like we've been discussing this zodiac sign type of thing, you know.
Yes.
I'm a Libra, so I'm a thinker. So I'm I try to be balanced. So I try to, I guess, stay away from the bloopers. I learn from your mistakes, so I don't have to make it.
That's true.
You know?
Yes.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. You will run into things, and only thing can get you through it is prayer.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
But for the most part, I'm just very calculated with the moves that I make in the industry.
Wow. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Because I'm kind of piggyback on that. My blooper would have been, oh my goodness, they're probably going to kill me for this, but I made a personal decision while running my business. And what I learned from doing that is that you have to separate yourself from that.
Most definitely.
Attitude reflects leadership. It does. And the day that I fired my whole shop, like I did in one day.
You checked out.
I did. I checked out.
Yeah.
But I checked back in later on that day, and I apologized to each and every last one of them. But before I did that, I'm a risk taker. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a risk taker. And it makes sense to take more or less of calculated risk. Folks say that I feel like, yes, I'm stubborn by nature, but what I've done with my stubbornness is no longer an ailment to me. Now my stubbornness works for me. So I've taken the things that I feared and I put it 150% into my positive choices, which makes you more or less of a calculated risk taker. Absolutely.
I totally agree, because I'm at that place in my career where the things that I'm doing now are all the things that scare me to death. But I've learned when you allow things to scare you like that, you are holding yourself back. So anything that I struggle with, I push myself to do that nowadays, because the more you do it, the easier it'll become.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the perfect accountability aspect of it. 3 things that I like to live by, which is accountability. You can't move nowhere without holding yourself accountable.
Most definitely.
Then it's always the positioning of yourself. And positioning yourself can always come through an idea, writing down a thought, or as the corporate America, writing a business plan. That's the way to position yourself. But then it's always about the execution. Because if you don't have a plan, there's really nothing to execute. And of course, even writing down the fears is a part of your navigation through life.
I'm going to share something with you.
Yes.
I've always been like a note taker, goal listing type of person. And it was crazy because like where I'm at now in my career, my husband found an old journal of mine in our basement. This is before we even got married.
Wow.
And it's like I'm always so hard on myself about not being where I feel that I should be at this time or whatever the situation may be. And he was like, you know what, babe? I'm running like brainstorming with him. He's like, stop. You were doing everything that you said you were gonna do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like he ran downstairs with so much excitement and I didn't know what he was gonna get. So, he come jot up stuff. I'm like, what is that? And it's literally the book from when I had the idea of opening my salon. It was me jotting down my logo.
Wow.
I didn't even have a space yet.
Wow.
It was me saying that eventually, I want to talk to young people in the industry. I would love to be their cheat sheet and kind of give them a little bit of insight on the do's and the don'ts of the industry. Because in this industry, we are positioned to make so much money. But without direction, I mean, what good is it?
That is true.
So I've been blessed to have a lot of great clients that have poured into me because, we go to school to learn the trade. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so much more to this industry and how you position yourself and how far you can go with this. I've been blessed for this industry to pay for everything that I have. A lot of people can't say that. I've been blessed to never have to actually do anything other than this. And the things that I have incorporated is by choice, just to grow myself. And I'm in a position to have all of my separate businesses under one roof.
Great. Oh my goodness.
So,
That's very important to not actually, say, hey, I want this salon, and you just go out there and purchase it. It's a little bit more work than that. It's the commitment aspect of it. It's the learning, like you said in the beginning, being teachable. And you have to soak up all knowledge because, especially in this industry, everyone that you actually run into is a potential client. Everybody's going to need a haircut. Everybody's going to want some makeup. Everybody's going to want to, hairstyle, lineup, shade, facial, whatever the case may be. But it's about exhausting all the information possible. And that's how you can actually pour that into what you're trying to do. It's not about you taking someone else's ideal or someone showing you that if it works for them, it may not work for you. But at least you have a concept to incorporate that into your journal, your business plan, your navigation. But if you don't have an idea, surround yourself with some like minds that not a successful standpoint by having, a big brick and mortar, but the information, the experience that people has in it. Me having 22 years, I have a lot of information to share. You have a lot of information to share. And that's another one of the things I wanted to capture in, the dialogues or the interviews that the BCU is going to do. Because it's important that we uplift and empower others. That's how you receive your blessings. That is how you receive it. Because as you receive a blessing, you hold on to it. What you're doing is blocking somebody else's growth. And not only that, you can kind of get yourself in a stagnant position and feel like, well, I have nowhere else to go. But it's not about that. Help one, teach one, reach one, empower minds. And that's our efforts here today, is to empower the minds through the art and science of prayer with our platform. So, in concluding that, could you give us a little bit more information about your doctoral?
Okay, so my doctoral degree, it consists of me having a doctoral degree in cosmetology. It would be considered a doctoral degree of professional cosmetology.
Okay. Yes.
And when people hear, oh, she's a doctor, no, I'm not a medical doctor. What I am, I have a doctoral degree in cosmetology. A lot of us, your master barber, master cosmetologist, things
another
like
level.
That. So it's
a reachable goal.
Another level, and we all know it's levels to all of this.
Yes, it is.
And that's what makes it exciting. It's just something that I learned at a young age was actually attainable. I met a woman when I was in cosmetology school, and her name just happened to be Dr. Watts. And that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, sure, the same name.
The exact same name. So that's what captured my attention. Never would I see her again for many, many years, but all I knew was one day I'm going to be Dr. Watts. I didn't know how it was going to happen, didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know any of it. And when I would talk to people about it, they would look at me like I was crazy because nobody had ever heard of it. And I'm like, what? Watts. So, the best part of that story is, like I said, I met her when I was about 20. And now, being almost 39, just a few months ago, I was able to actually meet her and share my story with her. She had no idea that just her being her gave me the drive to be who you see today. And that's what I mean when I say be teachable, be approachable, be open, and don't get in your own way. Because I hate to say it, we have a lot of jealousy in the industry, which it shouldn't be, because everybody's journey is their own personal journey. Whatever's for you, nobody can take it from you. Absolutely. And you have to be okay with watching other people's blessings, because yours are gonna come too.
Yes, they are.
So like now, I feel like, my career is really transitioning. And the reason I say that is because doors are opening that I would have never thought, with it coming from my doctoral degree platform, this is the same platform that people side-eye me about. But the reality, but the reality is, it's always scary to do something that other people are not doing.
That is true.
But those are the things that I gravitate toward. And what I would like to share is, we just celebrated 100 years of the doctoral degree. And it's not that it doesn't exist. Sometimes it's just you don't know. So I'm in a position to teach you, let you know. You know, it's so many other things out there. You know, it's a whole nother world. We will become stagnant in this, you know, and you have to constantly be open to falling back in love with this. You know,
absolutely.
you have to add a little bit more hot water when the water gets cold.
Oh,
you
my
know?
goodness. Yes.
So those are the things that continue to make me love the industry the way that I do.
Wow, that's so powerful. That's so powerful. And you're right about, you know, finding that passion in it, because that was something that we don't, my thing is that there's no such thing as accidents, it's me. All the choices that you make and the outcomes that comes from that is based upon your decision making. And there was a time, yes, me being behind the chair as a barber, I was growing to be stagnant, because you kind of cap out.
Yeah.
Not only money, but when you're trying to excel as a business owner, there's only so much that you can do from behind the chair. So by me accepting the hair industry as a ministry to me, in order for me to feed my congregation, so to speak, my barbers, and then also the clients and the consumers, I had to go and exalt more information. I had to pick up the Bible of the industry, which is our textbook, and also surrounded myself with other people within the industry, asking questions, having dialogue with them, building relationships. And as I've done that, that's what pushed me into opening up a barber college. So now I'm able to meet students where they are, some beginner students, some of them that has the stories from cutting in the basement and whatnot. I don't have that story. But
it's okay, you can't relate.
Yeah, I can't. I admire those. But the great thing about me, you know, being a barber college owner now is that I'm being empowered. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm being empowered with the students that come in, the relationships that I've made, the different, I'm gonna say, attitudes and different personalities. But we're all one unit. We are all one. We are all one. We all made a choice. The common thing that we have right now is her. So in order for us to actually empower within that moment, we have to exalt that information and share amongst each other. I am the owner of the business and the instructor, but yet I meet my students here. You know what I mean? Because I'm empowered by them. Had I not went to go and get this information, I would have not been able to share it with them. And then their journey, the information that they picked up, I missed out some of that information. So it's such an inspiration, and being able to pour from them to elevate them, you know what I'm saying? And then also elevate myself from a knowledge standpoint. Like, whom else can I share this information with?
And you get excited because you want everybody to know. And you want everybody to be just as excited as you are.
Yes.
Like, why you not excited?
Yeah, right. And which is one of the efforts why, you know, I want to do the interviews and the dialogue with the BCU. Because everywhere I go and I talk about it, everybody knows. You give me a microphone, I got to stop it. I got a story to tell. You have no idea. But it's due to my journey and excitement. When you're excited about something, you live it. You know what I mean?
And passion. Like I said, isn't she lovely hair salon?
Yes.
A lifestyle.
Isn't she lovely? I like it.
It's a lifestyle.
I like that. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. Once again, I'm Terrence Nate Lee, the founder of the BCU, which is Barbers and Cosmetologists United. Our mission is empowering minds through the art and science of hair. That's our mission. And as one, we will continue to be one and unify and uplift and inspire. We would love your story. Share your story. There's someone out there that needs to hear your voice. Bless you. Okay.